What if you took the Epic Storm and mixed it with Black Saga Storm? That's exactly what we're doing with today's donation deck. Let's go check it out. In front of you is a hybridization of the Epic Storm and Black Saga Storm, and it comes to you today as a donation deck from community member Zanzazar, who has been working with Polyerror on this deck. And you might remember that name because a few months ago I recorded their Storm variant. Well, we're playing it again today, and they've been working on an Echo of Aeons deck that also plays Galvanic Relay. That sounds a lot like the Epic Storm. That said, they're a big fan of Black Saga Storm, so they wanted to play Urza's Saga and then discard spells like Duress and then Burning Wish targets like Cabal Therapy and Thoughtseize. So you'll notice there's no Brainstorm and there's no Veil of Summer. That is the cost of playing the Urza's Saga today. That said, you do play Lavaspur Boots in order to support the Construct Beatdown plan. You have Kraza the Swarm as 1/Spider-Punk to make sure that your Echo of Aeons are slightly more consistent. And then a card I'll admit I'm not a big fan of, Spoils of the Vault, but it's become sort of a meme here on the channel that I hate this card and that I don't want to play it, which is partially true. I think that there's just better cards in Legacy. Wishclaw Talisman, for example. More copies of Burning Wish. There's so many things you could play, but people seem to really like watching me cast a card I don't enjoy. So we're playing Spoils of the Vault today. I think that this card isn't inherently terrible. I understand why people like it. I just would rather not play a card that risks me losing the game, but I could just play any other card instead. So maybe I'm just a coward, but I think that it's an unnecessary risk in, especially if you're playing a longer tournament. 15 rounds, that's a lot of rounds to ask for something not to go poorly for you. So I'm not a huge fan of this card, but I am a big fan of Galvanic Relay, and I'm excited to play that again today in this post-ban world, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Galvanic Relay does. In the sideboard, we have some Urza Saga targets like Haywire Mite, Nile Spellbomb, and Surge Node. Surge Node and Haywire Mite answer things like Chalice of the Void, where Haywire Mite answers, Leyline of the Void, but also Deafening Silence. The Nile Spellbomb is for Reanimator and Oops All spells. Even though Entomb was banned, Reanimator is still everywhere. So Nile Spellbomb is a good card to have. You have Void Snare as a generic answer off of your Burning Wish. You can play it off of the Gemstone Mine. Mindbreak Trap for opposing combo decks. Orcish Bowmasters as a one-of is a little bit weird to me, but you can side it in for that Echo of Aeon synergy. And then you have additional copies of Spider-Punk in the sideboard, along with some other Burning Wish targets. This list is choosing to play Debt to the Deathless instead of Approach of the Second Sun. I honestly don't think it matters all that much which one you play. I prefer Approach of the Second Sun because it beats things like Infinite Life, or if your opponent has gained a lot of life, it doesn't care, where Debt to the Deathless does. That said, they believe Debt to the Deathless is better, so we'll play it. That's all I've got for the deck tech. Let me know what you think of this deck list in the comment section down below. Thank you to Zanzazar once again for the donation deck. I really do appreciate your support. I will see everyone in match number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We are on the play. I don't know. Are we supposed to keep this? Maybe? Their turn 2 relay for 3? I guess I'll try it. I don't think you're supposed to mulligan this. I could be wrong. Alright, time to begin. Our opponent mulligan to 6. Alright, so our opponent is a person from the Storm Discord. They're a Stormtrooper member, which means that they get to see everything that I'm playing, including today's deck. So they know what I'm playing, and they just said, hey, it's me in the chat. So we're likely playing a Storm Mirror. So that changes this hand a little bit. I think you're supposed to try to Echo on turn 1 then. I could be wrong. I was going to plan to relay, but this hand is capable of echoing. So we'll use the Urza's Bauble. And they reveal a Force of Will. Okay, well, maybe I should have done the Bauble first, because I don't I didn't want to play the Lotus Petal, so I just burned a card for Galvanic Relay. Yeah, that was a mistake on my end. I shouldn't have played out the Lotus Petal. We'll just pass. We'll draw off of the Urza's Bauble, and we draw Burning Wish, Bloodstained Mire, and they play Ponder. They did not shuffle off the Ponder. We draw Dark Ritual. Okay. So we know that they have a Force of Will. I think I'm going to try to bait them here. I'll play Dark Ritual, Burning Wish, have them force it into Galvanic Relay. Burning Wish. I wish I would have held the Lotus Petal. That's my own fault, though. They Force Will, exiling Daze. I will not respond. And we will Galvanic Relay for 4. So we no longer know about a Force of Will in their hand. That is gone. And we pass the turn. They have 5 cards in hand. If I had to guess, they're playing Doomsday or Reanimator. I'm not really sure which one. They play Basic Island. 4 cards in hand. We revealed double Duress and another Galvanic Relay. Let's start by playing a Duress. And it's Doomsday. Okay. What a hand, by the way. I think we take the Flusterstorm and then Duress. If I take the Daze, I can gamble for a Lion's Eye Diamond and then Relay from Exile. I think that's the move. And now we'll gamble. Storm is 3 for a Lion's Eye Diamond. Play the Lion's Eye Diamond. And now we'll Galvanic Relay for 5. Okay, that wasn't amazing. I was certainly hoping for better cards. So they drew a land. So we know that they don't have Force of Will online here. That doesn't do it. Wow, Relay for 5 failed. That is a shame. That's real awkward. Pass the turn. They drew the 3rd land. So they can play Doomsday here. We are dead unless we draw, like, Beseech the Mirror. And that's a Doomsday. While our opponent's resolving Doomsday, let's go back to the deck list. A notable absence from this deck list is the Runehorn Hellkite in your Gamble deck. I am a big fan of Runehorn Hellkite, and they're not playing it here today. It's a card that I would likely try to fit in if I was playing this deck, but maybe they have a good justification for not playing it. Alright, they've made their Doomsday pile. We need to draw Beseech the Mirror. The Lotus Petal will not do. Alright, so we lose game number 1. Unfortunate. Galvanic Relay for 5 failed us. Okay. I mean, I fought through a lot of hate there. They had double Force, Daze, Flusterstorm, and I put ourselves in a position where we could win. It just didn't happen. So I think we want the Orcish Bowmasters. We want the Kraza Swarm as 1, aka Spider-Punk. Get rid of the Spoils of the Vault. I actually like Lavaspur Boots in this matchup just because the haste aspect matters a lot versus Doomsday with their life total. So I would like to keep this in. And then I'll board out 1 Echo of Aeons. I mean, I actually really like Echo. Maybe that's not a good idea. But it does become a Burning Wish target, and we need 1 more cut. It's either that or I think you don't board in the Orcish Bowmaster. I'd also try siding on an Urza's Bauble. Maybe that's fine. We'll try this. On the play for game 2. Sure, we'll keep. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. They Force Will, Pitching Consider. Play Urza's Saga, pass the turn. Underground Sea, into Ponder. I'm going to play the Spider-Punk on turn 2. If they have a Daze, they have a Daze, but I feel like I want to get this card online. And I played out the Saga on turn 1 to suspend for another Lion's Eye Diamond as quickly as possible. So we'll play the Spider-Punk here. Spider-Punk on the stack. The resolves will give it haste. And let's go to combat. Swing better. Now another Ponder. They shuffle their library with the Ponder. Underground Sea. And a 3rd Ponder. They did not shuffle with that Ponder. We draw a Dark Ritual. So I could, in theory, make a construct and attack here. My issue is, like, if I get Lion's Eye Diamond, I could Echo of Aeons, but I wouldn't be able to play the Dark Rituals. But if I go Dark Ritual, I could equip Lavaspur Boots and attack this turn. But that might just be dumb. Because then I'm pretty far away from another Urza Saga going to the final chapter. Okay, I think we're going to end up using Echo here. Grab the Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll play Gamble. Grab the Echo of Aeons. And we'll spin Floating a Blue. I don't want to play the Urza Sagas because if I draw a black land, I would like to be able to play it. We have 1 mana floating. So I could Galvanic Relay here. The fear is if they kill me, if I don't Duress them. I think I just have to play the Duress. I can't risk losing the game. Their hand is nothing but interaction and brainstorm. So I could take the brainstorm and then just focus on Urza's Saga the rest of the game. I think that's probably the move. And we'll attack. They play Flooded Strand and a Thoughtseize. So this is probably going to take the Galvanic Relay if I had to take a wild guess. They take the other Spider-Punk. Interesting. Not what I would have suspected. We'll play the Urza's Saga. Bobble. Chrome Mox. No. Play Galvanic Relay for 3. And now we'll swing. They fetch with Flooded Strand. And they surveil a Flusterstorm to the graveyard. They drew Doomsday. That's not good. So if their one unknown is Brainstorm, I could be dead. I'll use the Urza's Bobble. We reveal one of the Force of Wills we already know about. They're at 5. I could win this game if I draw mana to... Oh, that wins it. Because I'm pretty sure I can kill them with the Construct token with Lavaspur Boots. So we'll play Saga. Lion's Eye Diamond. And now we'll make a Construct token. Maybe I can keep the Gemstone Mine, actually. We'll make a Construct token. And then I'll sacrifice the Lion's Eye Diamond for black. Play Duress. Take Force of Negation. Play the Lavaspur Boots that they cannot counter due to the Spider-Punk. Equip the Lavaspur Boots to the Construct, and then we attack for lethal. That's pretty cool. Alright, we beat Doomsday in game number 2. Now we're on the draw in game 3. I'm just going to send back the same list. Game number 3 on the draw. We've opened up an explosive hand. I can't actually play Beseech the Mirror. I think it's a bit of a trap. I'm going to mulligan. We have the Spider-Punk. I think I might actually keep this. We'll bottom the Song of Creation. They have a first turn Polluted Delta. I'll begin by playing Chrome Mox. Urza's Saga was a very good draw. Because I could just start Construct Beatdown versus a deck full of interaction. We'll play the Opal. Play the Urza's Saga. And now I could pay for a Daze too. Play the Spider-Punk. They fetch in response. They have 5 cards in their hand. Hydroblast. Wow. Okay. We will pass the turn. 4 cards in their hand. They play a Ponder. They did not shuffle. Basic Swamp. They cycle Edge of Autumn floating a black. I might be dead. Holy moly. Okay. They have 2 cards in their hand. I don't even know what a winning game here looks like. I think I have to draw, like, Echo and Lion's Eye Diamond off the Bobble. I mean, I guess I have Gamble. So if I find Lion's Eye Diamond, we could win. But it's a pretty big if from here. And next turn, they could just make a Brainstorm pile, and I can't even beat that. I think I have to draw Lion's Eye Diamond. I could not sacrifice the Urza's Bobble, and then if I draw one of our lands, but we're only playing 10 lands, but if I drew a land, it would also have to be a non-Urza's Saga land. So it's actually 9 minus 3. I have 6 lands I could draw, or a Lotus Petal. I think I have to use the Bobble. They reveal a Brainstorm. Okay, we'll draw off the Bobble. Ding dong. And I drew the Echo. So if I had a dragon, I'd be a mana short from winning here. Is your last card Force of Will? Your one unknown? There's 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Wills. So there's 2 unknown Force of Wills somewhere. Wow. No, there's 3. There's another Force of Will down here that I missed. So their one unknown was the 4th copy of Force of Will. But now they have no cards in hand, which means they can't kill me. So I get a chance to Echo again next turn. So we'll draw. And now Saga go. Okay, this would kill them if I had a dragon here. So not having dragon is biting me in the butt. Okay. So I can float right off the Opal. We can Echo, but they're going to have Force Will in their hand. Alright, so I'll add blue and then black. Echo of Aeons. We'll use the colorless and a blue. Storm is 2. Oh, they have exactly 0 cards left in their deck. They're dead. I guess that worked out. Alright, so I guess Echo got the job done. We'll play the Bobble. They cycle Street Wraith. I guess they're just willing to lose that way. I feel like we got a little lucky here. But I'll take it. So we're 1-0 to start off this Legacy League. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2 on the draw. We've opened up a turn 1 Echo with Duress backup. I'm not sure what they're playing. It could also just be a turn 1 deterministic win with Beseech the Mirror. Support Springs, aka Sink into Stupor, and a Preordained. So likely some sort of Omni-Tel deck. And then they play a Lotus Petal. And we draw our own Lotus Petal. I think that means that this is a turn 1 with Duress backup. With Beseech the Mirror. Because I can bargain the diamond. So as long as the coast is clear, this is a deterministic win. They attempted to cast a spell and then stopped. Alright, so they're the Thassa's Oracle combo deck, and the coast is clear, so we can just kill them. Play the Lotus Petal. We'll play another copy of Lotus Petal. Lion's Eye Diamond. Sacrifice Lotus Petal for a black, we'll play Dark Ritual. And then we'll sacrifice the other Lotus Petal, Beseech the Mirror with Bargain, sacrificing Lion's Eye Diamond. And now we'll grab the Gaia's Will. And we'll play it. And now we'll play Lion's Eye Diamond from the graveyard. Sacrifice it for 3 black. Play Dark Ritual. And now we can cast the rest of our graveyard into the Tendrils of Agony. So we'll play the pair of Lotus Petals. Might as well play Duress because we can. We'll take the Thought Lash. And then Beseech the Mirror with Bargain, sacrificing Lotus Petal into a lethal Tendrils of Agony. Boom boom. Target you. And we win game number 1. Nice. Alright, so we probably want the Spider Punks here. And then, I think it's going to be a theme throughout this video. I'm going to board out the card that kills us. Goodbye to Spoils of the Vault. Alright, hit submit. Game number 2 on the draw. We've opened up a hand that's basically a mulligan to 5. We have the Tendrils of Agony and Gaia's Will. I'll actually just take a mulligan. This is much better. We'll keep. The question here, I think, is... what do you bottom? Because I think we're on the Saga game plan, so you could get rid of the diamond. But if I don't keep... like, if I bottom the Dark Ritual, I need to draw another land or another mana source. I think Dark Ritual is actually the worst card. But it's going... like, I have to draw the mana source in order to make a construct. That's my big fear. They play a turn 1 Sink in a Stupor. They're down to 17 and Preordain once again. I would love a Chrome Mox. That would be one of my best draws, in my opinion. They play the Lotus Petal again, same thing as game 1. A second Lotus Petal, 4 cards remain. We'll take our draw step. Welcome back, Tendrils of Agony. I've missed you. Alright, play the Duress. They Force of Negation, exiling Thought Lash. We will pass the turn. They do nothing. They have 3 cards. Another Lion's Eye Diamond. I'll play the Duress. Consign to Memory, Impulse. We'll take a Consign to Memory. Let's try playing Lion's Eye Diamond. See if they use the other here. They let it go. Interesting. We'll play Diamond and Urza Saga. Pass the turn. Looks like they're going to play the Impulse. So if I'm really, really looking to make constructs, I suppose I could use the Diamond to activate the Urza Saga. Saga goes to the 2nd chapter. Are they going to use the Consign? They don't. I'll play Duress. We'll take the Step Through. Pass the turn. I really do think I'm just going to make constructs for the rest of the game. Alright, on their end step. We discard our hand of Lion's Eye Diamond. Let's make a construct token. Draw for turn. Okay, well I guess I could Echo here. I'm not even sure if I want to though. I think I'm just going to make the construct. I thought about using the diamond in my upkeep. And then I was like, no, I think I want to see what I draw because it might change things. But maybe I was supposed to do it in my upkeep. I'm not sure. So they're going to counter the search with the Consign to Memory. I still get to make a construct token. And then we'll attack for 2. They have a Impulse and 1 Unknown in their hand. They draw and pass. Lavaspur Boots, the card I was going to get off of Urza Saga. A little late, but, you know, it's still an artifact. And they Force of Negation, exiling the Impulse. What a game. Swing, batter, swing. Now they have 2 unknown cards in their hand. 2 mana for a Thassa's Oracle. That blocks. So I need to draw another artifact if I want to beat through the Thassa's Oracle here. They have one card in their hand. Urza Saga. And now we'll attack. They can block one creature and take 2 down to 9. Ancient Tomb. One card still remains. We'll draw for turn. Echo of Aeons. Not particularly great here. I would have liked an artifact. Or a land to make an artifact. Alright, we'll swing again. They're at 7. No play. They have 2 cards in hand. Another Echo. I will tap the Saga for mana, I suppose. Grab Lion's Eye Diamond. And now our constructs are large enough to swing through. Swing. The Thassa's Oracle dies. And they're at 4. I think I just let them take their turn. Like, you could Echo. I think, like, you're more likely to lose the game if you Echo. Because they're a Thassa's Oracle Thought Shift deck. So, well, they might... Okay, another Oracle, sure. But they're more likely to... Like, they need an empty graveyard to win. With the... What is it called? Paradigm Shift. So, why would I want to empty their graveyard with the Echo? Like, it's just helping them. An artifact off the top wins. Gamble? I will select the last copy of Lion's Eye Diamond. Boo! Alright, we'll swing. They'll block and go to 1. I still think I just passed the turn. They have 1 card in hand. They can't use their Ancient Tomb. Why would I want to give them a new hand? They play Preordain. I think that's going to do it for us. I think we're going to win this match. They put 2 on the bottom. Our opponent says GG's and then some nice words. GG's opponent, and we are 2-0. Let's try to get the next 3. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3 on the play. So it's a turn 1 Spider-Punk, but we don't have the diamond for Echo. I think I'm going to choose to believe here. Keep. Play the Badlands, Lotus Petal, Urza's Bauble, Mox Opal, and Spider-Punk. I'll give it the +1/+1 counter because I don't want it to die to an Orcish Bowmasters. And then we'll pass the turn. They play Mishra's Bauble. They look at my top card, sure. Volcanic Island, and a Lightning Bolt. The downside of playing a main deck Spider-Punk right there. Okay. We'll use the Urza's Bauble. They reveal a Wasteland. Don't love that. Lavaspur Boots, a terrible draw here. But Lion's Eye Diamond, a pretty good one. We'll play the Lion's Eye Diamond. Dark Ritual. Alright, let's pray for no Force of Will. Echo of Aeons. It resolves. Good sign. Alright, let's play Duress. They have nothing. Okay, I guess we take Lightning Bolt. So, I do have the choice here of playing Spoils of the Vault for Beseech the Mirror, but we can't exile our Tendrils of Agony on the way. I could also just spin the wheel on Echo. That is another thing I could do here. I'm going to hate myself when I die to this. Spoils of the Vault. We'll name Beseech the Mirror. Okay. We did not die. That's good. We did not exile the Tendrils of Agony. So that is a +1 to the Spoils of the Vault Truthers, even though I'm not a huge fan of the card. It did work there. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. Urza's Bauble. Chrome Mox. No Imprint. Tap the Badlands for black. Lotus Petal for black. Tap the Urza Saga for colorless. We will bargain the empty Chrome Mox. Storm is 9. And Tendrils of Agony. So another thing that I'm a little skeptical of is in your Spoils of the Vault deck, you have 1 Tendrils of Agony and 1 Burning Wish. If you exile both, you just lose, which is pretty risky, but it's worked so far. Alright, we have won another game. Spider-Punk a little sketchy versus Blue-Red Delver. I'm going to get rid of the Spoils of the Vaults. I know that we just won with it, but I don't know. Risk aversion. That's what I'll say. Maybe I'm a coward. I'll accept it. Game 2 on the draw. I will keep. I wish we had a colored mana for this Spider-Punk, but we'll see what happens with our draw steps. If we had a red mana, Gamble for Dragon would be something I was interested in if we had Dragon, but we don't. Another gamble. I think I'm supposed to just play Saga and pass here. Hopefully I draw a red mana on our turn. They play Flooded Strand. Duress. I mean, I like Duress. We will just go to cleanup here and discard the Beseech the Mirror. Or maybe it should be a gamble. They consign the Construct trigger. Okay, that's a little odd, but I'll take it. They grab a Thundering Falls, discard the gamble. So best possible case for us is that they don't wasteland me here. And then on our turn, we draw mana. I can use the Saga to go get another mana. I can play Duress into Spider-Punk into Echo. They have 4 cards in hand. Black mana. Okay, so we'll lose the Saga here. Do you have another Consign to Memory? They do. Okay. I will discard Gamble. We're just waiting on mana in our 10 land deck. It makes me a little nervous. And one of our lands, as we just saw, didn't tap for a color, because there's only 6 lands in the deck that tap for colored mana, which is a little bit light. They play a Quarry Steelcutter, 3 cards remain. Now they fetch with Scalding Tarn into a Brainstorm. They surveil away Wasteland. And now they attack for 3. I'll go to 17. We draw a guy as well. Things are not looking good. Go to cleanup. Okay, I will concede to Null Rod. You got it. Okay, so that did not go super well, but there's always a game 3. Let's try it again. On the play. Sure, keep. Play Gemstone Mine and pass. They have a Polluted Delta, Volcanic Island into Delver of Secrets, Mishra's Bauble. I draw Lavaspur Boots, play the Urza Saga. I mean, I think I just have to disrespect Daze here. Play the Spider-Punk, and I do get dazed. Okay. They use the Mishra's Bauble. They reveal Consign to Memory to the Delver of Secrets. That hurts. I'm at 17. They have 6 cards in their hand. Urza Saga now goes to the second chapter. Another Consign to Memory. I will attempt a Spider-Punk. This time it resolves. I don't know if they play anything that would kill it for 1, but it doesn't hurt to give it the +1/+1 counter. And I'll pass. Hoping for no removal. And they have the Lightning Bolt. And a Wasteland. Oh no. Okay, things are not looking good. They have 4 cards in their hand. Are we ready to lose to Daze? Or Force of Will? Or Force of Negation? Dark Ritual. Play another Dark Ritual. And this time they Force of Will. Okay, we'll play Lavaspur Boots. Pass the turn. So I think this match was a pretty good example of why Spider-Punk isn't great against the top of the format. Like, it is very good against Doomsday, the blue Tron decks. Like, basically blue combo, Spider-Punk is amazing. It's really bad against, like, Dimir Tempo and Izzet Delver, which is why I've sort of haven't been playing it in the Epic Storm. Diamond, so that means we could Echo, assuming our opponent has nothing. We'll play the Lion's Eye Diamond, play Opal, Gamble. They have 2 cards. We'll grab an Echo, and let's cast it. Storm 4. It resolves, but I didn't draw any action, so we have to pass. They swing, I go to 8. They just pass the turn. Another Mox Opal. Play Chromox, see if they daze this. They don't. No imprint. Pass the turn. Alright, so the attack will put me to 5. I'm closer to being dead to Lightning Bolt, which I don't love. They play a land, 7 cards. Mishra's Bauble. Draw for turn. Galvanic Relay. So if they don't have Consign to Memory or Lightning Bolt, there's a chance. Let's attempt a Dark Ritual. They're going to fetch in response, and they use a Force of Negation. We'll play Lion's Eye Diamond. I would love it if this ate a Consign to Memory. Love it. They let it go. Mox Opal. Play another Diamond. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they have a Consign to Memory based on the pause on Lion's Eye Diamond, but I don't have a choice. I just have to play the Galvanic Relay. No Consign to Memory, apparently. Okay. I am still dead to a Lightning Bolt or Quarry Steelcutter plus Make a Monk. So, a Light Breeze kills me. They have 6 cards in their hand. They fetch with Scalding Tarn. And there's the Lightning Bolt. So, Galvanic Relay, a turn too slow. Ouch. Okay, so we are now 2-1. Bummer. Losses happen. Let's go win match number 4. The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly. Round number 4, on the play. So I like turn 1 Saga plus artifacts. Less excited about the Guy's Will, but I think we'll keep it. Play the Lotus Petal, Urza's Bauble, Mox Opal, play the Urza Saga, and then I'm going to suspend the Guy's Will. Pass. Polluted Delta, they fetch, Underground Sea, into Ponder. They shuffled. Guy's Will loses a suspend counter down to 3. We draw another Mox Opal, play the Badlands, and we'll pass the turn. And now a Brainstorm, basic Swamp, Thoughtseize. Sure. They take the Beseech Dimir. We'll make a Construct token. Guy's Will goes down to 2 counters. Dark Ritual's the draw. We'll make another Construct token. And we'll search out a Lavaspur Boots. Play the Mox Opal. It resolves. We'll now equip the Lavaspur Boots to the new Construct. And attack for 13. Swing. They're at 4. Another Ponder, they shuffle, Blooded Strand, and a Concession. Wow, Urza Saga doing work. I love it. Okay, not really sure what they're playing. It could be Doomsday, it could be Dimir Tempo, it could be Reanimator. I think we bring in the Spider-Punks once again and get rid of Spoils of the Vault. Hit Submit. Game 2 on the draw. This hand is not playable. We'll send it back. Ay. Another mulligan, down to 5. We'll try this one. Get rid of the Galvanic Relay and Spider-Punk. I think the game plan is going to be turn 1 Saga plus Duress. They play Basic Island. Mox Opal. A good draw if the Chrome Mox resolves. It does. Play Urza Saga. Trigger. Duress. Ooh. Okay. So they have a Wasteland. They also have Lavinia and Baleful Strix. We'll take the Force of Negation. Pass the turn. They play the Wasteland. So they're just like Esper control. We'll play the other Duress. They drew the white source for Lavinia. That's not messed up. Alright, so we're in a pickle here. We'll play our Urza Saga and pass. They played the Polluted Delta. They grabbed Scrubland and Lavinia. Okay. We rip the land so that way we can make constructs. Let's go. So we know that they have Underground Sea, Baleful Strix. Baleful Strix will trade with one of our constructs. They have Stony Silence. What a hater. I think we've lost this one. I'd have to draw like another Urza Saga and another land. I just don't think there's a real way we win this. Because they have the removal for my construct token already. Yeah, I'm going to pick this one up. Okay, Esper Control gets me in game number 2. I don't think we want any other card here. I guess, like, Bowmasters could be okay. We'll shave 1 Urza's Bauble and try this. On the play for game 3. Guy's Will. I suppose we'll keep. Play Badlands past the turn. They have a Tundra into Ponder. Dark Ritual. A reasonable draw. We'll play the Urza Saga and Spider-Punk. They have Force of Will. Exiles Kaito. Okay. Pass the turn. Polluted Delta. Baleful Strix. Okay. Chrome Mox. Saga goes to the 2nd chapter. Play Lotus Petal. Let's try a Dark Ritual. Chrome Mox. So I could imprint the Guy's Will or the Galvanic Relay. My gut tells me the Guy's Will, but it stinks that I'm going to lose the mana from the Lotus Petal. And then we'll make a construct and Galvanic Relay for 4. We reveal Lion's Eye Diamond, Beseech Dimir, Mox Opal, Lotus Petal. Okay. Not terrible. They play Flooded Strand. They fetch for a Scrubland. 3 mana for a Clarion Conqueror. Wow, their list is very hateful. We draw Song of Creation, which is pretty bad here. Guess we'll float a colorless. Actually, I'm going to lose my construct to the Baleful Strix. I think we're just dead. Because I can't even get a mana to Galvanic Relay again this turn. Yeah, I'll save myself the time. Unfortunate. So we are now 2-2. It happens, you know. Our opponent was definitely playing a list aimed at beating combo, and they did it. So Hard to be upset. But there's only one match left. Hopefully we win that and finish with a positive record. The best Legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. On the play for the fifth and final round, we're facing a good friend of mine, Michael Reed, who's one of the trophy leaders at the moment on the play. So this is a turn 1 Duress into turn 2 Gamble Echo. I think we keep it. I'm not super excited about it. We'll lead off with Lion's Eye Diamond, Urza's Bauble, Mox Opal, and Duress. Alright, looks like we're facing Doomsday again. I'll take the Force of Will. Pass the turn. With a Wasteland in it. I just realized that. That's a little odd. Turn 1 Undercity Sewers. We'll draw for turn. Another Duress. I will gamble. We'll grab Echo of Aeons. And we'll attempt to spin. So Michael had an unknown draw step and the Street Wraith he could cycle. He doesn't, though. I'll play Chrome Mox. And I think I want to imprint the Beseech Dimir. I realize that I can't cast these Echoes, but if I don't imprint Beseech Dimir, I then have to cycle the Mox Opal. Force of Will pitching Force of Will. So that tells me that Michael wants the Doomsday next turn. So I'm going to play the other Duress. Okay. There it is, Dark Ritual Doomsday. So we'll take the Doomsday. And because I wasn't fast enough on the clicking, so Michael has Dark Ritual, Edge of Autumn, 2 lands in hand. Scalding Tarn. I think I'm supposed to sit on the Urza's Bauble. I could cantrip into another diamond, but if I keep this around, Gamble becomes a good draw. Badlands. So now I can probably cycle the Urza's Bauble. Gets another Undercity Sewers. Prevails away Wasteland. I also hope that Michael just plays the Thoughtseize and takes an Echo. That would be lovely. It doesn't happen, though. We'll use the Urza's Bauble. Reveals Underground Sea. Echo number 3. And a Chrome Mox. Cast the Chrome Mox. It resolves, and now we'll imprint an Echo. Pass the turn. Okay. Place Polluted Delta. And Michael draws Barrowglyph. Okay. Yelvanic Relay. Kind of sad. I'm going to just cycle it. I need to do something. We reveal Beseech Dimir. Okay. The attack with Barrowglyph. Fetches the Thin. Mills over another Doomsday. You'll love to see it. Cycles Edge of Autumn. Passes the turn. We draw Gemstone Mine. We'll play it. Beseech Dimir with Bargain. Sacrifice the Mox Opal. Storm is 1. So I could bargain again. I'd lose a permanent mana source, but then I could replay a Chrome Mox for Storm, and Michael is at 21. I think I like that, so I will grab another Beseech Dimir. We'll bargain away the blue Chrome Mox, and now we'll grab the Guy's Will. Storm is 3. Nice, we got there. Beautiful. Okay. So the Urza Saga game plan is going to be less good versus Doomsday that is playing Wastelands for some reason, but I still think it's something we're interested in. And then I'll board out Spoils of the Vault. Game 2 on the draw. So this hand to me is basically a mulligan to 4. Because the Guy's Will is a mulligan. We're really far away from Beseech Dimir. I think you should actually send this back. If I was facing a non-blue deck, I would keep it in a second. But versus Doomsday, I think this hand is actually really sketchy. Better 6. Not quite. I'll go to 5. The best hand we've seen. Alright, so I'll bottom Mox Opal and Dark Ritual. Turn 1 Underground Sea. Into Tamiyo. I think I'll just fire off an Urza Saga here. I don't want to play Duress into Daze, and I want the Saga to get Lion's Eye Diamond. So I think it's a win-win playing the Urza Saga on the first turn. And now a Brainstorm to transform the Tamiyo. Okay. Plays basic Swamp, pluses the Tamiyo, and a Nile Spellbomb. Another Urza Saga. Okay. I think I'm actually going to just play another Saga here, and then we'll pass. Tamiyo goes up to 6 loyalty. 5 cards in hand for Michael. You draw a Gamble. So the Saga triggers happen. The first one that resolves will be the plus on the Saga with 1 loyalty up to 2, and then we'll float a colorless and sign a memory. Okay. I'll play another Urza Saga, and we'll just make a construct here. Pass the turn. And step Dark Ritual. And they draw off the clue, sure. And the Nile Spellbomb. You got it. Land number 3. 5 cards in hand. Returns Brainstorm. Dark Ritual Doomsday. I'm dead. Assuming that there's a Lion's Eye Diamond in the deck. I'm pretty sure they don't even, no, they use the Tameo, so Edge of Autumn doesn't return making a blue. So they just need a couple Lotus Petals and I'm dead. I'm going to make Michael go through it. Because there's a chance that Michael doesn't have the tools to win, so it also doesn't take that long with Doomsday. I see one Lotus Petal here, so there are some Lotus Petals in the deck. And now the Brainstorm. And Lion's Eye Diamond is in there. Okay. There's a Bowmasters and Oracle. Okay. We did not get game number 2. I mean, I think that I was reasonably in this for a mulligan to 5. But it just didn't go our way. On the play for... Actually, I should probably have Bowmasters in the deck, right? What am I doing? Cut and Urza's Bauble. We'll try this. On the play for game 3. Sure, we'll keep. I don't love the fact that we don't have Metalcraft on turn 1, but I think this hand is okay enough. We'll play Saga, and then Lavaspur Boots, Urza's Bauble, and Mox Opal. Pass the turn. Ooh, the Wasteland. That hurts. Okay. I would like a land, please. There we go. And we're going to just flash in the Bowmasters now. I guess it's not actually flash. We're playing it at sorcery speed, but it gets around days. Force of Will, exiling Brainstorm. Okay. Looted Delta, and a Ponder. I think I'm going to use the Urza's Bauble here. It's not like Burning Wish has any amazing targets, and I feel like I just need to draw into Lion's Eye Diamond. Michael has a Doomsday. So we'll draw off the Bauble trigger, gamble for Diamond here. Ooh, we draw a Diamond too. Okay. I think I'm going to take the 66% chance that we win the gamble. I'll go grab another Lion's Eye Diamond. We did not win the gamble flip. Alright. So let's Flashback Echo. Hopefully it resolves. Storm is 3. Nope. Double Force Wasteland is a strong start. Alright. So draws and plays Tameo. Saga. Okay. So if I can draw a mana, we're in this. I would love to draw a land here. Galvanic Relay was a terrible draw. Pass the turn. Attacks with Tameo, 5 cards in hand. Thoughtseize, takes my Galvanic Relay. Not good. We'll go grab another Lion's Eye Diamond. Pass the turn. Michael draws land number 2. Duress. I suppose we'll play it. Doomsday, Bowmaster's Doomsday. And another Tameo. Okay, we have to pass. Michael draws off the clue token. Attacks with Tameo. We draw a gamble. I think we're supposed to try to jam again. Consign to memory. Okay, we'll play the gamble. Grab Echo of Aeons. And we'll spin. Storm is 4. Tameo transforms. We'll play Urza's Saga. It could have been a better draw 7. It was not particularly good. And I think we'll duress here. Force Will pitches Tameo. Okay, we have to pass. Tameo goes up to 4. Underground Sea number 3. 5 cards in hand. Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm actually dead here to Doomsday. Because Diamond sacrifices the clue. Wait, am I dead? I might not be. Diamond sacrifices clue for a blue. Brainstorm doesn't kill me. Consider wood if there was like a deep analysis and a second Lion's Eye Diamond, but nobody does that. So maybe the pile here is like Force of Will or Flusterstorm on top. Actually, I guess it would be like Flusterstorm or Consign to Memory on top. So the Doomsday is going to put Michael to 6. I'm trying to think of like what a winning line could look like. I don't think I can make a construct up to 6, even with the +1 from Lavaspur Boots. Maybe if I draw an artifact. I do have Dark Ritual Tendrils, though. So maybe there's a chance that wins. But then again, I would lose to Lion's Eye Diamond, discard my hand, Consign to Memory. Alright, 5 cards on top. Sacrifices Diamond. Draws for the clue. 1 blue floating. Nile Spellbomb. I can beat this. Pretty sure we've won. Galvanic Relays the draw. Or am I wrong because I have the Tendrils in hand? So Dark Ritual Beseech the Mirror. Or another Dark Ritual doesn't do it. The Tendrils being in my hand is actually the difference maker here. So if I go Dark Ritual Saga, make a construct, that doesn't do it. I feel like there's got to be a winning line here. I could go Dark Ritual Activate Saga, and then gamble for another Dark Ritual, but I'd have to not discard Dark Ritual or the Tendrils. So it'd be a 50-50. Or, I'm sorry, it'd be a 60%. So another possible line is I go Dark Ritual, make a construct, gamble for Diamond, and then that is an 80%. And then I Echo, hoping to just hit artifacts so that way I can attack for lethal with the construct. And that might be my highest percentage line. Dark Ritual. I'm trying to make sure that there's not a Beseech the Mirror line I'm missing. We have Song of Creation, but I can't trigger it. Alright, so make the construct, gamble, lines at diamond, straight to the graveyard, 80%. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, we were so close, but the Tendrils was in my hand. Bummer. I'm just dead. Edge of Autumn. Cameo can return the Edge of Autumn too, but it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, we started this league off hot with a 2-0 and then lost 3 consecutive matches. Alright, so what do I think of the deck list? Spoils of the Vault is obviously a card I sided out the second I could. It's just not a card I think you can reliably play. You have 1 Tendrils, 1 Burning Wish. Like, there's a pretty high probability you exile your win conditions. So I think if you want to play Spells of the Vault, you need 4 Burning Wish. Not having a Runehorn Hellkite in your gamble deck, I feel like is pretty weird. I'd probably try to fit that in somehow. I don't trust Spider-Punk as a way to protect my combo when, like, Dimir Tempo and Izzet Delver are the best decks in the format. I think the thing I liked most about the deck list today was Urza's Saga. And then Lavaspur Boots was decent. Like, I won't say it was amazing, but I was certainly happy to see it a couple of times. So, yeah. I also think, like, the sideboard, you have a lot of wish targets. I guess you have a similar number to the Epic Storm, but you're pretty cold to, like, Deafening Silence, Null Rod, Clarion Conqueror. Like, you don't actually have answers in your board. So, little skeptical there. I guess you have Haywire Mite for the Deafening Silence, but I don't know if I'd recommend this. It was fun to play, but ultimately I feel like the Epic Storm is probably just better, or Black Saga Storm, the stock lists with more discard are probably better. Hybridizing them I don't think actually works. That's my honest opinion. Thank you to Zanzazar today for the donation deck. I'm sorry that things didn't go a little bit better, but sometimes that's just how the cards fall. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. There's no better way to support our channel. If you're interested in elevating your combo game, visit theepicstorm.com/tutoring for details about our coaching sessions. Don't worry, there's more great combo content coming right up.